Yes.
Okay, good. Okay, so now the commands, the next commands are like very simple and easy. I'm just gonna like display it, and then I'm gonna just breeze through it. Okay, it's not a big deal. All these commands are. So we have a next command called date. When you type date, it will give you the full information. It will give you the date, time, and the time zone and the year. Okay, that's all there is to it. The date. There is nothing else. Okay, and the next command is cal. That means calendar. So it prints out a little information, the calendar information for you. So if you type like cal 1999, it will give you the entire calendar of 1999. Okay.
Okay. And by the way, on the date, do we have an option to change the format or? Um,
Yeah, I mean there is. I mean the way you learn more about a command is called man,
Man.
man, and you do date,
Right.
and you go in there and
So it.
it will tell you
Right.
date
Okay.
data space hyphen d. It will give you more information, the file and all that. In all honesty, I
And
never really use all these options.
right.
I
So
mean,
man. Sorry.
go ahead.
Man give you on each command the descriptions, further description.
Yeah.
Okay.
All right. So let me get out of this, and so you have like cal 12 1969. So what it does is it brings you the calendar, December calendar for 1969. If you do like end of this century 2000, it brings that calendar of that specific day in 2300. So it's pretty easy. It's I find it very easy to bring it up and use it to look up the calendar way much better than if you want trying to find a traditional calendar and then look things up. So if you just do cal, it will bring up today's January, and then obviously you could look through that. All right, so the next command is who. I think I already showed you who, but I'm going to show you officially here to go through and hack into this. But then again, not everything is foolproof, okay? All right, so let's move on from here. All right, now there is another command called last, LAST, and it will show you who logged in at what time, and it keeps the history for like at least 90 days. It depends on the configuration of the system here, right? So I type last here, and you see all these people have been using this service. These are some of my previous students, and where they are connecting from. Okay, and the next command we have is free-h. I use free-h a lot. Okay, so when you type free-h, it will give you the memory information of a system. So this system is close to 2 gigabyte, and this much is being used, and this is free, and this much is being in cache. Cache means is being used by the system, and we could flush it out to get the cache back, but this is what is being used, and this much is available here. Okay, yeah, I mean, just looking at it, it gives a lot of information itself. It's not a rocket science. Okay, coming along. So what we do is there is a command called du. So what it does is when you do sys hit du, it will give you the size of the file here. So let me just clear this, and let me do ls. So if I do du Linux 1, it will give you this Linux 1 probably doesn't have enough information in here, right? Okay, so Linux 1 doesn't, it's probably 0 kilobytes. So what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna fill some information in here to Linux 1 and see what happens. Okay, let me do it like several times here so that I make that file grow. Let's do Linux only. So let's work on this file here, Linux, and you see over here 9720 kilobytes, right? But there is a way also to find out what is the size of the file. Okay, when you do a du and then the Linux, it will give you 12 kilobytes. It's using about 12 kilobytes of the disk size. This stands for disk usage and displays the size of file or folder. Can somebody tell me how do I find the size of the present working directory? Du what? Period.
PWD.
Period. Yeah. Du period. Period means present working directory. Do you agree with that? So
Okay.
this one is 112, 152 kilobytes. It's actually including everything in here, the hidden files and all that. Okay, so
So
let's,
if a question,
yeah.
yeah. So when the file becomes maybe like a million kilobytes, um, is there a way it can show us like megabytes it converts?
Yeah, so let's try this here. Let me run this command. Don't worry about this command. I'll officially show you this command.
Is it DU or DD?
No, this is a dd command. I'll show you in a minute here. Okay, so let's see here. I'm going to clear this. So I just created a file named Zafar here, right? And it's giving you a large number. So what you do is du Zafar, and it gives you the large number here, right? So what else you do is uh, hyphen du hyphen g, or a lowercase g. Okay, so it's not working. So what you do is man du and hit enter. And let's see what is happening. Hyphen a count, b block size, bytes, c d is difference, maximum depth equal no, file human readable. Okay, so let's do du hyphen h. Okay, k is block size, we don't want that. So what I'm going to do is, if I do ls hyphen l, we have this size here. So this is not readable by humans, as I mean, it's hard to understand what it is. But if you do du hyphen h and you do Zafar and hit enter here, okay, so now it's tell me that the size of this file is 2.8 gigabytes.
Okay, thank you.
Now if you do du hyphen h and then the directory itself, you give it's okay, so this is 16 kilobytes and all that, and the directory itself is 2.8 gigabytes. So all these files are very small, so it's not even counting specific gigabytes and all that. So but in reality these are really small size files here. So if you have same amount of content into the Linux, into the Windows environment, the file size will be bigger because uh, the Windows uses a GUI environment, and the file size gets significantly bigger. So that's another advantage Linux has, because the same amount of information it carries, the size of the file will be very, very small. So in the long run, it just imagine there are like billions of transactions happening in the bank, and if you've been using Windows environment, the size of the file gets pretty chunky, and nobody likes a big size of file. Everybody likes the information, but nobody likes the size of the file, right? So that's what this is comes into play. All right. So now there is a one more way I will show you. If you check the size of like a file in some other location, you could do like du -h slash var log messages. Okay, the size of the file we were looking yesterday. It's 80 kilobytes. 80 kilobytes is very, very small. It needs to be another 10 times more the size of itself to become 1 megabyte. And how many lines we had it yesterday in there? If you do WC on this file here, okay, so it's not going to give you the information here because we don't have access to the file. But if you go in as root, warlog secure. Let's look at secure. Okay, so this one has 7,000 lines in it, right? And if you do du-h, it's only 740 kilobytes. Okay, so it need to be, it's coming close to a megabyte here, but it has 7,000 lines in it. So just imagine if you have a Word document which has 7,000 lines in it, it will be a very big document. All right, so next command is top. When you type top, what it's going to give you is going to give you real-time information. Okay, it gives you the size of the memory and how much is being a total, and then how much is being used and how much this is used, and how much is in buffer. That means it's being cached. Okay, and it says here, let's see here, top, and this system has been running up for 15 days, and we have 7 users logged in right now, and these are the load averages of the CPU memory. Okay, and so right now we have like one process running, and they have another 177 processes running in the background. So all the system, no matter if it's a Windows or Linux, they have processes running in the background. Okay, that's where you come in and take a look here. Just Q to quit out of it. Okay. Now the next command is lscpu. What is lscpu does is it will show you the CPU information here, okay? So we have the architecture is 64-bit, and how many CPU we have on the system? 2. And one is online, list is 01. So I don't really need to go into the CPU as much in real-time environment, but this is just a good information to see here. By the way, these servers you've been working on, they are very, very well maintained, and they don't have a memory and CPU issue, and they don't have the budgeting issue, okay? Because all these things, big banks, big corporations, they are running this. So there is no issue with adding extra memory, adding extra CPU and all that. Money, budget is not an issue here. Okay, let me get out of this. So now next command is which. When you type which here, at the same time you have to type the command you're using. If you type which pwd, okay, so what is happening here is when you type pwd, it's actually running this command here, the location of the command. See, when you type pwd, or if you type like /user/bin, it's going to give you the same result. Why? Because pwd is actually running this command here. Okay, so did you get what I'm trying to say here?
Yes.
No.
Location of the command or package. Also good indication if a command or packages. Okay, so let's see here. I'm gonna do which Python, and over here it says user bin which no Python in. So the Python application Python is not installed on this system here, okay? If you do which Firefox, see Firefox is installed. So you get the idea. If you do which this, which that, all is gonna do is gonna show you all the information there of the command, if the command is installed or not, okay? Alright, so moving along. So now I'm gonna show you how to run multiple commands here, okay, using pipe. PIPE. This is not a command, but actually it's a symbol. You see on your keyboard here, right? On your keyboard, there is a pipe. Look on right on top of your enter key. There's an icon that looks like a pipe, okay, hold on, let me. I can't type today. On-screen keyboard. Okay, look carefully here. Right above the enter key, you have a slash and a little a vertical line. It's called pipe. Okay, pipe. So pipe is used for primary, secondary, and third command. Okay, so let me show you how. Used okay, so what is happening here is so we would have like a primary command, then we have a pipe, then we will have like a secondary command, then we will have like a third command, and if you want you could have like a fourth command also. Okay, sky is the limit. Okay, so let's see here. I'm gonna do ls-l. Okay, and I got this information here, right? So now what I'm gonna do is I just want to see Linux in here. So what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna say ls-l, then grep. So what is happening here is you do ls-l, the system will run this, it will bring up this information. Then we are filtering it for Linux. Okay, so now only 2 lines are being displayed here. So all these things happening. Why? Because we are doing ls-l, then we are adding a pipe, and we are searching within this result. We're not searching a grep Linux. We are searching within this result. We are searching for Linux, and it found 2 options in here. Okay, so now then what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna do, oh, I just want to grep for Linux one. Then it further filters through. When I hit this command, it ran this command, and it ran this command, and it came up with this command here. Okay, let me do that one more time. I do ls-l and I hit enter. Now I'm gonna do pipe grep, and then I'm gonna do for file. Okay, let's do file. Okay, so everything that starts with file is over here. Now I'm gonna further do grep, and I'm gonna do for file 5. Another grep, file 5. So the third option I'm getting is I'm zeroing on file 5 here. Okay, any questions? You don't have to be restricted with grep. You could run unic, wc, all the other commands you could think of. Let's actually I'll show you how to do that right now. So let me clear this. I want to do ls-l. Can somebody tell me what else they want to add? ls-l, and what do you want to pipe to? I could also do pipe wc. Okay, now it's counting the lines. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11 lines. So this one has 11 lines and 92 words and 576 characters. Or let's do, I'm going to pipe and I'm going to unique to uniq file. I'll hit enter. What if I do file 1? Okay, that's a bad. Instead of doing unique, let me do. All these are done by Zafar, right? What I could do is. Well, you got the idea here. You could do WC, and you could do a lot of other things here, okay? But most of the time, I'm using WC and grep and all those things. So that should be easy enough for you, okay? All you have to do is just run these commands, and you should be good. Okay, now the next command is, this is kind of important command. We're gonna do gzip. What time is it now? Should we take a break? Oh no, it's too early. There's a command called gzip, and what gzip does is, gzip is used for zipping file and compressing it. Okay, it adds the extension .gz. So we have a fat file here is Zafar du-h Zafar, right? It's 2.8 gigabytes. It's pretty big file. I want to compress it. So what do I do is gzip and Zafar, and I'll hit enter. It's going to take a minute or two, and then it will be done, and it will give us a result. Okay, it's completed, right? So what I'm going to do is, I'm going to do du-h. Okay, Zafar is not there. It adds the extension. So look, from 2.8 gigabytes, it went to 2.8 megabytes. So from 1000, it went to like only. So if you compare it, from $1,000, it went to just $1. It compresses about 1,000 times. Okay, and if you take a closer notice, it adds .gz as the extension. Okay, now how are you gonna unzip it? To unzip a file, just type Gunzip, Gunzip, and the file name, and hit enter.
Zip, Gzip, Gunzip.
Okay, looks like it's done. If I do du-h Zafar, and you see it's back to the original form. Any questions? All right. Okay, so the next command is, let me clear this. So the next command is tar. Okay, what tar command does is it converts the folder. Okay, now the tar command is for folder. Okay, it converts the folder to a single file and adds .tar extension. And it does not compresses it. Or reduce the size of a folder. Okay, it keeps the original folder as is, but it creates another file with .tar extension. So earlier we saw like Gzip, it was taking the same exact file and then messing with it, right? But tar doesn't do that. Tar actually creates another folder for it so that you could able to run it for you. Okay, so I'll show you how it works. So what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna let's see if I could do it to the present folder here. I'm gonna do mkdir. I'm gonna give it a name like a big folder. So I need to move all these files into big folder. Can somebody help me how to do that? It might not work. Oh, it did. So all the files and folders are in the folder name big folder, okay? Let me go back to my home directory. If I do ls-l, I have only one folder now, which is called big folder. And what is the size of the folder? The size of the folder is around 2.8 gigabytes, okay, approximately. So what I'm going to do is, somebody asked me, they need the folder with all the files in there, okay? So it would be a pain in behind sending each file separately, right? What you want to do is just zip everything up and send it to them. So how are you going to do that? You're going to use the tar command. TAR. Let's do man tar. tar-c f is F is for archive option. Okay. So I have ls here. I'm going to do tar -cvf. I'll explain you what cvf is. And then I'm going to say big folder dot tar and the folder source. So this over here is kind of backwards here. So why is it backwards here? It all depends on the okay. So what is happening is okay, this is a command. Okay, and this is a destination. And this is the source folder.
What's this tar command for again?
It's for the folder to bundle it up. It will make it into a single file. Did you get it?
We can't use zip, right? That
Not yet. Not yet. So what we're doing is we're wrapping the folder into one file. Then we're gonna zip it.
Okay.
Just imagine when you go into Walmart, they have like a pallet, right? And they have all these boxes. Pallet is a folder, and the boxes are all the files, and all the boxes are shrink wrapped, right, to a pallet. So what we're doing is we're shrink wrapping it so that it becomes one file, and then you could reduce it. So CVF stands for create verbose. That means you could get to see which files are being added. And then F is for folder. Okay, all right. I'll hit enter. And it might take a little time for the big file to do it. So the V part is a verbose. You're actually seeing which file is being added to the tar file. All right, we'll just wait. Okay, it's done. Now when we do ls, it's gonna be, this is the original file and this is the new file the tar created. Okay, let's do this here. And if you do ls-lt-h, so you see the size of the file here, 2.8 gigabyte for tar. Now this is a single file now. Now what we're going to do is, you're going to have to zip it. So just use the regular zip command. Gzip and the big folder. Gzip big folder dot tar. So it will have big folder dot tar dot gz in the file name. Okay, it's done. Now I could do ls -ltrh and look at the size, 2.8 megabytes. It's telling here where is 2.8 gigabytes and where is 2.8 megabytes here. Okay, you probably doing this quite often at your work. Okay, when you land a job, you do very often. In fact, I did not this week, a previous week I did at my work. And these are some of the silly skills you'll be getting paid for, okay? It's not a rocket science, guys. Just follow exactly what I'm doing and what I'm telling, and you won't be surprised. You'll land a good job. Okay, I guarantee that. Why? Because there is a high demand and there is low supply for Linux skill, and everything is based on Linux. Tesla car, they have like automation and everything, right? They have a Linux operating system running in the cars. The nuclear weapons, uh, the Starship, satellites, they're all running on Linux. They're not going to be running on Windows and get hung up, okay? So please, it's easy, it's not a rocket science. And if you want to, look yourself making at least $50 an hour, please stay up with this, and you will get it. Okay, it's not a rocket science. It's not big deal. It's easy. And once you get into the work, day in and day out, you're not doing everything new. Day in and day out, you're doing everything which you have already done. You're not going to be doing anything super new. If I track everything I'm doing day in and day out, every day at my work, I'm just keep repeating it. Keep repeating it, keep repeating it. That's all it is. Okay. All good. Go ahead.
Sorry, I just missed something. I think it's a 2.8 megabytes and 2.8 gigabyte with the same command.
No. Well, first we did look at it here. It was tar, right? Tar command is not gonna tar command is not gonna compress it. Okay. The gzip command is the one that compresses it. Tar command, it just bundles it up. Did you get it? What I'm saying when I say bundling it up, it's just like bundling it up or shrink wrapping it into one single file.
Yes.
You have a bag of chips, right? How are you going to sell it? You put it in a bag and you sell it as one bag. You're not going to sell it like
Right.
open chips, So you're just taking a bag of chips, taking the chips and putting it in a bag, and you're bundling it up. And then you use Gzip to shrink it even smaller. So look,
Yeah.
from almost 3 gig, it's only 3 megabytes. So it's a significant reduction in the size.
Okay. Got it.
And you follow the same commands here to zip and unzip and all that, okay?
Yes.
All right. So you good? What time is it now? Okay. Let's take a good 20-minute break. We'll be back in 20 minutes and we'll go from there. Break starts now.
Okay.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you.
Anybody have any questions,
Question?
anything like that?